All right. Hi, I'm here today with Creeksong, who's teaching our September monthly workshop, which is Saturday, September 18th at 9 o'clock Pacific time. And we're so excited. Creeksong has been to the Congress a couple of times, and we love her so much. And she has so much wisdom, particularly about this, what she's going to be teaching on about clearing blocks, clearing things that prevent you from having that close relationship with the fairy realm that we seek so much. So how did this topic come to you, Creeksong?
This topic came to me because after and even during several fairy congresses, participants at the Congress would walk up and say, well, I'm taking all these workshops and I've read this book and that book. And then they would express their frustration that no matter how many workshops, et cetera, they attended, they just couldn't do it. And they couldn't understand why they couldn't do it. And unfortunately, there was never the time I would have liked to have been able to sit down and say, well, have you thought of this or have you thought of that? And that's really what begat the topic for this one, because that's been an ongoing conversation that I've had with a number of people, particularly from the Fairy Congress, but really just in general, even clients and students of mine. That's what I'll hear at some point, and that's where I'll take them next, is how to build that relationship so it becomes personal and so it's real. So it's an actuality rather, not something that you just read about or hear about that everyone else is doing except you.
Mm-hmm. All right. And so can you give us a taste of how these blocks are cleared?
Oh, absolutely. Well, the very first experience that I had with this, and since then I've had hundreds of others. I even had an experience pop up that was my own that I'll talk about further in the workshop. But the very first experience happened when one of my students came for a session, and she just kept having this sense that she had a past life memory coming up. So we prepared the session for that. But the next thing I knew, I was with her watching her in her kitchen, her childhood kitchen. She was maybe, I don't know, 3.5 years old, verbal, because she was always pretty verbal, and she'd be the first one to laugh at that. And she was sitting doing something. Maybe she was figuring out how to peel potatoes, I think it was. And her mother was stirring something with a spatula on the stove. And then there was another woman standing right behind her mom talking to her. It was, she told me it was her Aunt Alice. And at one point, her father came in and her mother started talking to her dad. And I don't remember what the break in conversation was, but her 3.5-year-old self looked up and said to her mom, how come nobody ever listens to Aunt Alice?
Hmm.
And the mother freaked out and dropped the spatula and I think some of the contents of the frying pan onto the floor. And the father got very, very angry and stormed towards the 3.5-year-old that my client was at that time, and either fisted the table or almost slapped her, which completely shocked her because she talked to Aunt Alice all the time and she had absolutely no idea that Aunt Alice had been dead for 20 years. So in that moment, because of how she was treated by both of her parents, she made a very rapid decision to be very clear about who you do and don't listen to, what you see and what you do not see. And she shut down her ability to see. As soon as that session was over, she suddenly started seeing. And some of the visions and colors, most of what came to her came in colors. She didn't necessarily have a lot of beings from the other world show up, but she could sense and feel everything dramatically heightened afterwards. And it was, for me, it was a very, very eye-opening experience. And since then, I've found that even people that I've known for years who are pretty intuitive, all of us will at some point meet that block that is still holding us back from even more and deeper relationship into the other worlds, into the invisible realms.
Mhm. All right. Well, we're very excited to take this journey with you. And yeah, I hope lots of people can join us, because certainly even I find after 20 plus years of working with the fairy that I still get doubts and concerns. Am I hearing, am I getting everything that I could be? Um, and sometimes I think even my guides get frustrated with me. Like, if you can get rid of the doubt, that is such a help, because that gets in the way.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, one of the things that I've become very aware of recently, and this is a part of the very strong guidance coming in now too, is as the Aquarian age continues to very, very much pour in, and it's pouring in on what's called blue ray energy. So we're talking about pure divine love and pure divine wisdom. The end result of that, I've found, is that more and more people are becoming more and more intuitive. The trick is to trust it. I've found that even my intuitive skills have once again heightened dramatically, and I don't necessarily trust what I'm hearing because it's coming in a different way, or it's coming in more often than usual, or it's coming maybe from a being that I have never connected with before. Or a lot of times we have deservedness issues too, about whether we even deserve to hear a being of that stature, or however it is we see this being. And whenever you connect with any of them, they're like, well, I'm here. It makes no difference to them whether or not you believe you deserve to hear them. They're
Right.
hoping they're hoping that you'll just listen.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks so much. But yeah, we really look forward to next Saturday. That's September 18th, 9 a.m. Pacific time and noon Eastern time. Um, and yeah, go to fairycongress.com to sign up, and we'll see you there.
Wonderful. Thanks so much.
Yeah.